A victory today in the federal court. A small victory, but still it is a victory against the woke race politics that is threatening our economic future. Now, this woke race politics is financed in part, in this case, by the Albanese government to stop massive gas projects offshore. Now, one of the early decisions of this government was to restore funding, nearly $10 million to activist lawyers, the Environmental Defenders Office, as well as the Environmental Justice Australia. Now, the Liberals had scrapped that funding a decade earlier. The Albanese government put it back. And what has this Environmental Defenders Office done with all that cash and with donations from some state governments too, and corporates and private people? It's worked on court bids to stop mega gas projects offshore worth more than $20 billion. Plus, of course, all the royalties that we'd get. Now, to make it even worse, it is doing that by promoting the most ludicrous Aboriginal superstitions. Or I should say, the promotion of some of the most extreme views supported by only a minority of Aborigines, which risk making some Aborigines seem like the most irrational people on the planet. Most unfair. This is hurting Australia, it's hurting taxpayers, hurting Aborigines themselves. Why is the Albanese government funding this? I'll give you two examples of what I'm talking about before I get on to today's victory. One, this Environmental Defenders Office last year tried to stop giant Woodside, the gas explorer, from seismic testing the new gas field on Western Australia's northwest Cape, actually nearly 200 kilometres out at sea. And the Federal Court actually agreed because Woodside had not consulted one woman, Raylene Cooper. Hadn't consulted quite enough. She identifies as Aboriginal, you see, as a traditional owner. Woodside had in fact talked to a lot of traditional owners, but apparently not talked to Raylene often enough. And that apparently mattered because this Raylene Cooper is against this seismic testing because she claims it would hurt Aboriginal songlines involving whales. And apparently the whales have been telling her all about it.
What is going on here? What is happening? We've got animals, plants that are telling us there's a major issue going. Animals are telling us there's a problem. This is huge. The whales are telling us, they're showing us how much they love us, people. Why do you think they put the big love heart there? We love you.
Why are superstitions like that being backed by taxpayer-funded lawyers? Now, Woodside told the Federal Court it had never even been told of any so-called whale dreaming or whale songline way out there in that patch of sea until it read an affidavit from Raylene drawn up by this Environmental Defenders Office. Now, as it turns out, Woodside luckily got a fresh approval for the seismic testing after another meeting with Cooper. She stormed out and eventually went ahead at who knows what extra cost after a 2-month delay. But to the second example, the one that today earned this Environmental Defenders Office a well-deserved smack. You see, this office last year also persuaded the Federal Court to halt yet another gas project far out at sea. Honestly, our reputation overseas must stink. This time it was because, get this, Aborigines might be buried deep underwater. In fact, the crocodile man in the sea might get upset. Now, Santos was just hours away from laying a pipe from this Barossa gas field, 140 kilometres from the Tiwi Islands, to Darwin, when Justice Natalie Charlesworth told her to stop, despite what she admitted would be the significant financial impact to the project. That's because Santos this time hadn't included Simon Mukara among the traditional owners it had consulted. And Mukara claimed laying the pipe on the seabed that would hurt his culture, as he said through his lawyers, instructed by these Environmental Defenders Office. People lived on that land under the sea. And there are burial grounds and other important things from our ancestors there. Even though it's been a long time and it's under the water, it was always our heritage. And it's all part of our beliefs. Would you believe that? People buried underwater, many kilometres away, they still remember. And Mukara and other elders also claimed, well, the crocodile man and the rainbow serpent also live in the sea. And by sheer coincidence, just where the pipeline's supposed to go. And these spirits wouldn't like it. Now, Mukara claimed he'd actually learned about the crocodile man from his dad. A man got speared, he said, because he was a greedy person, didn't share no food, he disappeared down to the beach. Then he was drifting probably not far from where he got speared, Wiapurali water, and he changed into a crocodile. Now, there are two issues here. First, do many Tiwi Islanders seriously believe in Crocodile Man? I mean, given that 81% of them are actually Christians, according to the census. Other islands, in fact, said, well, look, Makara's got the Crocodile Man story all wrong. Crocodile Man actually lived much closer to the island, nowhere near the planned pipeline. As for the rainbow serpent, she lived in a lake. But second, why does any of this matter? I mean, be real. Do you seriously think a gas pipe way out at sea is going to upset a crocodile man? Is that what we believe now? I mean, have we really lost all reason? A court costing Santos losses of $1 million a day because of a superstition like that? I mean, but victory today. Here's the good news. The same judge, Natalie Charlesworth, said, well, actually, there was a lot of disagreement among Tiwi Islanders about all this sea country stuff and the myths. In fact, she said Mulcara seemed to be expressing a personal belief, not any cultural belief held by many Tiwi Islanders. Beware of oral traditions. And this cultural map given to her by Mulcara's lawyers showing the supposed damage this pipeline would do, well, she said, I've drawn conclusions about the lack of integrity in some aspects of the cultural mapping exercise, which undermine my confidence in the whole of it. And so Santos can now finally go ahead. But how did it get to this legal brawl and all these expensive delays to both projects? I mean, talking whales, crocodile men, rainbow serpents who hate gas pipelines, a dodgy map about supposed Aboriginal sea culture, and all pushed by a green activist legal service, part funded by the Albanese government, to stop gas projects that we badly need. You've got to ask why we're forced to pay for activists who help hurt us by exploiting the most irrational superstitions.